Let's go ahead and get started with the day's news. Our top story today, the Justice Department has released its report on the FBI's handling of the Clinton email investigation. The report is highly critical of the Bureau's former director, James Comey, who it describes as insubordinate. However, it says the decision not to file criminal charges in the case was correct. And President Trump is moving ahead with a plan to impose tariffs on Chinese imports. They would affect some $50 billion worth of goods brought into the U.S. each year. The tariffs are the latest move in the White House's effort to reduce the trade deficit with China. Continuing our coverage as investigators try to figure out what sparked the fire at a Billings siding, window and door business, the damage has been estimated at $1.2 million. The fire and police departments are now working with investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, trying to track down what started Wednesday night's blaze. Officials say the fire at Winrich seamless siding, windows and doors caused major damage to the building structure, with heavy fire and smoke damage in the office and warehouse areas. Fire crews were on scene for close to 12 hours after the call came in Wednesday night. The body of a second missing hunter has been recovered from the Selway River along the Montana-Idaho border. The body of 21-year-old Bozeman outfitter Kobe Clark was recovered Thursday, some 60 miles from the accident scene. On Tuesday, Forest Service workers found the body of 22-year-old Reese Rollins of Oregon, more than 40 miles from the accident site. Back in May, 4 hunters disappeared when their SUV overturned into the swollen river. Brothers Jesse and Raymond Ferrari, both in their 20s from New York, are still missing. Idaho County Sheriff Doug Giddings says they'll have to rely on backcountry travelers to find the bodies of the other 2 missing hunters. 2 other out-of-state hunters who were also in the SUV were able to make it safely to shore and alerted authorities about the accident. Back here in Billings, if you took in last year's 4th of July fireworks from the rims, well, it may have been the last time. Fire Chief Bill Rash says that while nothing catastrophic happened last year, they noticed multiple things that could have gone wrong. While Rash says he understands that people want to use areas up on the rims, it is their duty to protect all citizens, and the danger is just too high. The area will be closed starting Tuesday morning, July 3rd, and remain closed through Thursday the 5th. The closure will span the area along the rims from Main Street in the Heights to Zimmerman Park. There will be no access for vehicles, bikes, or pedestrians.
If a fire were to start up there, then we would have a real issue, because a little bit of wind, the wrong conditions, and then all of a sudden we have structures, people, a lot of problems that we may not have the resources to contain in a timely manner. So again, we're trying to do everything that we can do within our power to try to prevent any of that from happening.
Rash says he hopes the public understands and can keep the holiday safe for everyone. Elsewhere, KTVQ and MSUB teamed up to educate the community about active shooter situations. Retired U.S. Air Force Major Patrick Hoy delivered his presentation Thursday night. Hoy explained 98% of shooters are male and 69% do not intend on surviving. Hoy has read FEMA reports on active shooters and uses his military experience to understand the shooters. He said his talk is based on the run, hide, fight response and says mental preparation is the key.
When it starts happening, the human body experiences shock, and shock creates confusion, and confusion causes us to freeze in place. And that's the one thing you don't want to do when one of these events start taking place. I give people ideas on how they can have themselves mentally prepared to lessen the period of shock and have themselves ready to respond quickly and survive.
Hoy says the chances of being in a shooting situation are slim, but he also said running from a desk to the exit for practice will help, and not having to think about it could save a few seconds. Meanwhile, one by one, the key players involved in the new One Big Sky project for downtown Billings are getting on board. Earlier this week, the Billings City Council voted to move forward in the planning process with the Hamas Development Group. On Tuesday, the Downtown Billings Alliance followed suit, and on Thursday morning, the Big Sky Economic Economic Development Board endorsed its role in the project as well. The Billings Chamber of Commerce Board will meet next week to consider its support. Steve Arviskow, Big Sky EDA Director, says the key work will take place between now and the end of the year as the One Big Sky District Development Plan takes shape. At its heart are so-called catalyst projects that could spur other development and investment. As for local support, both First Interstate and Stockman Banks are involved as contributing partners. Arviskow says the hope is to have the project's development plan in place by the time the 2019 legislature convenes next January. And now we go to Zoo, Montana, where there's some sad news about one of 4 baby otters. A Facebook post by the zoo says Frodo, the runt of the Fab Four, lost his fight to survive. Despite incredible efforts by zookeepers and vets, he was more susceptible to infections and illness and always lagged behind. The other 3 otter pups are doing well and have started the process of exploring their new home. They can be seen on exhibit for short spurts at 12:45 Friday through Tuesday. Turning now to some lighter news. If you're looking for something to do with Dad this Father's Day weekend, fishing is free. This weekend is the annual Father's Day free fishing, when anyone can fish for free Saturday and Sunday. 3 local fishing access sites that are closed due to flooding along the Yellowstone River will reopen. Those sites include Holmgren west of Columbus, Duck Creek west of Billings, and Buffalo Mirage at Park City. The Otter Creek access site at Big Timber, as well as the Bratton site west of Reed Point, are also open this weekend. Several other fishing access sites along the Yellowstone are restricted to walk-in traffic only.